ìwọ náà kọ́ Olódùmarè ọba ní kí ọ lárugẹ.
ẹsẹ̀ wọn ló máa ń.
Sunday o.
Ǹjẹ́. ẹsẹ̀ mo dúpẹ́.
Máa gbọ́ o ti kókó wọ́n máa déyà máa o dé wọn mọ́lẹ̀ pákápáká wọn ò lè mí má o ti kó wọn láyà tí wọn ò lè sóge ọ̀sẹ̀ rúbà wọn ọjà wọn láyà wọn ò lè mí fín má o ti fi òkútu lápọ̀ ìgbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ ní èyẹ dànù. Wọ́n máa déyà máa fọ́ wọn bá tiẹ̀ ọmọ ọkọ lóògùn ọmọ àlè ìwọ náà bí bàbá dojú dé àṣìbù bí ọba ṣe sí ẹjẹ afọ kí ni bẹ nínú ọ̀gán ọmọdé yẹn mo ti dún màwúrú bí ọ̀pá ni kò pa ni bí ọba ní pa ni kó yé dún màwúrú máa o Sunday ọmọdé yẹn kò ti di bí àná yìí yé ẹjẹ ọmọdéwọn wú ewé kókò tó bá lè bí ọmọ bẹ́ẹ̀ tó bá fẹ́ fọyà kó máa fọyà gbèrègbèrè sàǹgbà ọ̀rọ̀ máa fọ́ọ̀kù ẹni bá wọ pé ọmọdé yẹn mo ti di bí àná yìí ọmọdé yẹn ìgbé òòṣà yé orí ìyá pé ọmọ Yorùbá kàkàtà ọmọ ọkùnrin ọ̀ ó ṣeun bẹ́ẹ̀ lọmọ ọkọ ṣe ìwọ ọmọ ọgbà gàmbàrí nípa ìsìn Sunday ọmọdé yẹn ọgbà gàmbàrí nípa ìsìn ọgbà fúlàdé táwọn ọgbà ìfọlọ́pọ̀ ya onítọ̀wá ìgbòho Sunday Igboho ṣá ọ̀pẹ̀lẹ̀ àbábá rẹ lọ òròlù ọmọ kẹlá ọlẹ́nẹ́lẹ́ mo sùn lẹ́ẹ̀kan ọmọ ajá tó yẹ dìde sílẹ̀ àwọn ọmọ rẹ mo délù mo dáàrin òde wọn di méjì bá rẹ ta àná mo di méjì bá rẹ ti àgbẹ̀dà yìí ó di méjì bá rẹ gbẹ̀dínlógún ó kan ìlà àárọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ní kókó ilé wa àgàdà ló bí àwọn rẹ ọmọ gbájú ọlọ́kọ̀ ní sowó àkọ́níṣẹ́ ọlọ́kọ̀ ní sẹ́yìn ìgbàlẹ̀kẹ̀ ọmọ adéyẹmọ yé Sunday Igboho sàmà kọ́ ogun ní nánilógún ogun ló ní ilé àárọ̀ ogun ni wọ́n fi jagun yìí yé bẹ́ẹ̀ jẹ́ bóògùn ọ̀jẹ́ ẹjẹ́ nira wa lóògùn ọ̀nà Sunday Adéyẹmọ Igboho ṣà ló ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ó kó òmìnira dandan ní àwọn agbọ́ ìlànà Olódùmarè ni ọmọ ìlú ọmọ Adéyẹmọ o dákun mọ́rù làwọn oníṣẹ́ ẹbí ẹ̀tọ́ kálukú mọ̀ fi dùn wọ́n orí kálukú ló gbé ọdẹ kò tó dùn wọ́n á máa gbọ́ gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá tàtà ẹ̀ ń tẹ́wá lóye ẹja fọwọ́pọ̀ ká gbé ẹni tó wá fi ṣe ká gbé lárugẹ gidi ni ẹni méjì wọ wọn ò dùn ẹjọ́ òròdù lọ sí ibà méjì kọ́ ẹni tó wá fi sáré ọgàtọ̀ sí ẹni tó fi ra wọn Sunday ọmọ Adéyẹmọ tó fi ra tiwa akọni jagunjagun ọkùnrin tààrà pọ̀dọ̀kẹ́lẹ́ ọmọ Adéyẹmọ wọn a máa gbọ́n fẹ́ sàkóso fún wọn ni ẹni tó bá ní kó ògùn ní kékeré kó máa fọwọ́ àwọn síra wọn wọn ní kàkọ́ máa ṣe àrẹ lókè dáná ìmọ̀tú ayóyè pọ̀ ní kó lọ́wọ́ ọmọ wá kékeré tó kékeré ìdáwọ́ ilé ọmọ gbẹ̀yìn àgbẹ̀dẹ oṣù pàtàkì òní kúrú olùkó tẹ̀ máa gbọ́ àwọn bàbá rẹ tó ti wà níbùgbé ìdájọ́ wọn àmọ́ fọwọ́ tí ọ gẹ́gẹ́ ni àwọn alágbára jagunjagun tí wọ́n ní jagun ṣáájú ilẹ̀ Yorùbá wọ́n mọ fi ọtí ọ̀gá gẹ́gẹ́ ni Oòduà Ọlọ́fin ọba káná aṣọ́run àjàká ajẹ́ngẹ́tíẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹ̀fọ́fọ̀gbẹ́rì anáfọ́fúnná òmùlẹ̀lẹ́rú ọmọdékùnrin ìjọba agorílá agorí kòkó alùsùlù àbá àbúrú ògèdèǹgbé ẹgbẹ́gbùngbùrù olè jẹ ṣàgbọ́. ọmọ Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho sáńpolo sí pẹ̀tùpẹ̀tù tiẹ̀ ṣe ọ̀gbárùgbà lárúgbó lórúkọ rẹ̀ tó ògùn lẹ̀yà ọ̀sẹ̀ pé yẹn rí kẹ́ni ọmọ ní bàbá rẹ lọ òrùkàtàrí bàbá kẹ́ni ọmọ ní bàbá rẹ lọ alárúgbó parúmọ́ Sunday ọmọ Adéyẹmọ ní oṣù lórúkọ ní gbangba Sunday ọmọ Adéyẹmọ ó ti dìbò kóòdù ó ti wà lókè ẹni ẹ bá ní ọjà kọ́kọ́ máa kú ni máa gbá o sórí má bẹ̀rù ọ̀tẹ̀ mọ́ òòrí ní gbogbo fùlùfùlù labalábá tí wọ́n ń dìbò lẹ́kùn Sunday ọmọ Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho ṣà òòrí bí wọ́n ti ń wo sọ àkísà máa gbá o yẹ gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá àtàtà tó bá lóye akọ́dà ayé ọgbọ́n ọmọ Adéyẹmọ ní ẹja àkọwọ́tì àti yìí débi tó lágbẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹja àkọ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ èmi tún ẹ̀wọ̀ òdùnrin kò lè gbé wa débi kankan pa akọ́dà ayé ọgbọ́n ẹja àkọ́wọ́pọ̀ ká bí ẹni tó ń wọ́n fi sẹ́ni lárugẹ ni ẹ máa bá wọn ní bọ́ ìgbésẹ̀ wọn máa fara wọn ní igi igbó sórí ipò wọn dìgbẹ́ ẹ̀rí ni àwọn àgbàlagbà wọn ní bí orí bá dúró tọrùn inú déyìn ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ gan ni Sunday ọmọ Adéyẹmọ yẹ́ẹ̀ máa bá òótọ́ òní ọjọ́ burúkú tó lápẹ̀rẹ̀ ní ṣùgbọ́n àwọn tí wọ́n ṣerú kú ẹ̀ mo ò lè mú jẹ́ ẹ̀ wọ́n ṣe pé ṣùgbọ́n nu rẹ̀ lẹ̀ gbogbo nǹkan ọba tó ń sọ padà bọ̀ ìmọ́lẹ̀ thank you àrò ọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ gbogbo nǹkan ọba tí ń jẹ́ àrò ọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ àwọn tó mú kọ́jọ́ ò náà wáyé má ṣe pé o ṣùgbọ́n má jẹnu rẹ̀ ó gbófo gbogbo nǹkan ọba pátápátá àrò ní ọmọ àrò mọ́ wọ́n máa fègísè lọ́lé wa kì í ṣe é mà wọ́n lè dín lẹ́rìí wípé ìtàlọ́kùnrin ìwòsàn lápẹ̀rẹ̀ lágbájá ní tàmẹ̀dọ́rin ìmọ̀lẹ́ akéwìrì ọmọ wọn ló kù mọ̀sọ́ àjílédé mọ́bólúwa mi dúpẹ́ mọ́ bẹ̀rù àgbà.
ìmọ́lẹ̀ ẹsẹ̀ gan ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ yóò ní wọ̀ ẹsẹ̀ àdúpẹ́. ẹsẹ̀ o ní báyìí mo fẹ́ fi tó wa létí pé àwọn Yorùbá World Media àwọn náà ti ṣe tán báyìí gbogbo wa la jọ ń host event so ká tó pé bàbá wa.
Opportunity is all around us, but to act on it, you need to get out of your comfort zone. With Grammarly Go, you don't have to take that leap alone. Grammarly Go brings AI to every text box, helping you produce high-quality writing in a fraction of the time. That means no more overthinking email replies, no more staring at a blank page, no more waiting until tomorrow, because you have a partner that can help you take the steps to achieve your ambition today. Click the blue button to download Grammarly Go today.
ọ̀sẹ̀ rúbà wọn ọjà wọn láyà wọn ò lè mí fín mọ́ o ti fi ògbójú ńlá fọ́ igbá ooru ní èyẹ dànù. ọmọ adéyàmọ tó pọ̀ wọ́n bá tiẹ̀ ọmọ ọkọ ló gún ọmọ àlè ìwọ náà bí bàbá dojú dé àṣìbù bí ọba ṣe sí ẹjẹ́ àfọ kí ni bẹ nínú ọ̀gán ọmọ adéyàmọ ti dún mọ̀wúrú bí ọ̀pá ní kọ́ pani bí ọba ní pani kó yé dún mọ̀wúrú mọ́ o Sunday ọmọ adéyàmọ ó ti di bí àlọ́ yìí yé ẹjẹ́ ọmọgámú ewé kókò tó bá lè bí ọmọ bẹ́ẹ̀ tó bá fẹ́ fọ̀yà kó máa fọ̀yà gbèrègbèrè sàǹgbọ̀rọ̀ máa fọ́kù ẹni bá wọ pé ọmọ adéyẹmọ ti digi àlọ́yè láti wo ọmọ adéyẹmọ ìgbóòsà yé orí ìyá pé ọmọ Yorùbá pàtàkì ọmọ ọkùnrin ọ̀hún ṣeun bẹ́ẹ̀ lọmọ ọkọ̀ ṣe ìwọ lọ pa gàmbàrí nípa ìsìn Sunday ọmọ adéyẹmọ ọpa gàmbàrí nípa ìsìn ọpa fúlàní bá ọjọ́ ìfọwọ́pọ̀ ya onítọ̀ọ́mọ Sunday ìgbóòsà ọ̀pẹ̀lẹ̀ àmàbà rẹ lọ òròlú ọmọ ntẹ̀lá mo lẹ́nẹ́lẹ́ mo sùn lẹ́ẹ̀kan ọmọ ajá yẹn yìí sílẹ̀ àmàbà rẹ mo dẹ́lu mo dàrin òde wọ́n di méjì bá rẹ̀ ta àlọ́ méjì bá rẹ̀ jì àgàdà yìí ó di méjì bá rẹ̀ gbẹ̀ndínlógún ó kan ilà àárọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ní gbogbo ilé wọn àgàdà nínú bí àwọn rẹ̀ ọmọ gbàdúrà ọlọ́kọ̀ ilé ìṣòwò àkọ́níṣẹ́ ọlọ́kọ̀ ilé ìṣẹ́ ìgbàlẹ̀kẹ̀ ọmọ adéyẹmọ Sunday ògbó sàmà tó ogun ní nánilógún ogun ló ní ilé àárọ̀ ogun ni wọ́n ìgbẹ́mọ̀jẹ́ tó kùn wọ̀nyí ẹjẹ́ nira wa ló wù ná Sunday ọmọ adéyẹmọ ìgbòho ìsà lónìí ilẹ̀ Yorùbá kò mìíràn dandan ni ọwọ́ agbọ́ o ìlànà Olódùmarè ni ọmọ ìlú ọmọ adéyẹmọ o dákun mọ́rù làwọn oníṣẹ́ ẹbí ẹ̀tọ́ kálukú mọ̀ fi dùn wọ́n orí kálukú ló gbé ẹdẹ́kò tó dùn wọ́n á máa gbọ́ o gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá tàtà ẹ̀ ń dáwà lóye ẹja fọwọ́pọ̀ ká gbé ẹni tó lúwọ́ fi ṣe ká gbé lárugẹ gidi ni ẹ̀mí jù ọ́ wọn ò dùn ẹjọ́ ròdù lọ sí ibà méjì kọ́ o ẹni tó lúwọ́ fi sáré ọ̀gàtọ̀ sí ẹni tó fi ra wọn Sunday ọmọ adéyẹmọ tó fi ra tiwa akọni tiwa akọni jagunjagun ọkùnrin tararara rògbòdò kẹlẹ ọmọ adéyẹmọ wọn máa gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ ni ẹni tó bá ní kó òkú yìí kéde kó máa fọwọ́ náà wọ́n síra wọn wọ́n ní kàkọ́ máa ṣe ara ìdúkò dànù ìmọ̀tú ayóyè pọ̀ ní kó lọ́wọ́ ọmọ gbá kékeré tó kékeré ìdáhọ́ iná máa gbẹ̀yìn agbẹ̀dẹ oṣù pàtàkì òní kúrú olùkó tẹ̀ máa gbọ́ àwọn bàbá rẹ tó ti wà nínú ìgbé ìdájọ́ wọn máa fọwọ́ tí ó gẹ́gẹ́ ni àwọn alágbára jagun tí wọ́n ní jagun sáájú ilẹ̀ Yorùbá wọn máa fi ọ́ tí ó gẹ́gẹ́ ni kó o tú wà ọlọ́fin ọba kálá aṣọ́wọ́ àjàká ajẹ́ngẹ́tíẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹ̀fúnfọ̀fẹ́rí anáfọ́fúnná òmùnàlẹ́rú ọmọdékùnrin sábà agbórílá agbóríkòkò alùpùpù àbáàkùn òkèdè ìgbé agbóngbòrò lè jẹ́ sàgbó. ọmọ adéyẹmọ ìgbòho ìsàpolo tí gbòdúgbòdú tiẹ̀ ṣe ọ̀gbárùgbàlárúgbó lọ́nùgbòrò rẹ̀ tó òkun lẹ̀yà ọ̀sẹ̀ pẹ̀yàn rí ẹni máa ń dè bàbá rẹ lọ òrùkàtàrí bàbá máa ń di bàbá rẹ lọ alárúgbó parúgbó Sunday ọmọ Adéyẹmọ ní oṣù olùkọ́ ní gbangba Sunday ọmọ Adéyẹmọ ó ti dìbò kóòdù ó ti wà lókè ẹni ẹ bá ní ọjà kọ́kọ́ máa kú ni máa gbọ́ o tó orí má bẹ̀rù ọ̀tẹ̀ mọ́ orí ní gbogbo fùlùfùlù labalábá tí wọ́n ń dìbò lẹ́kùn Sunday ọmọ Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho ọ̀sà orí ni wọ́n ti ń wo sọ àkísà máa gbọ́ o yẹ ìfọgbọ́n ọmọ Yorùbá àtàtà tó bá lóye akọ́dà ayé ọgbọ́n ọmọ Adéyẹmọ ní ẹ̀ka àkọwọ́tì àti yìí débi tó lápẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹ̀dá àkọ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ èmi tún ẹ̀wọ̀ òdùnmí kò lè gbọ́ adé nìkan kan fa akọ́dà ayé ọgbọ́n ẹ̀dá àkọ́ ọ̀pọ̀ ká bí ẹni tó ń wọ́n ká bí ẹni tó ń ẹ máa bá wọn ní ìmọ̀ ìyẹn tó máa fara wọn ní igi igbó sórí pọ̀ wọ́n dìgbẹ́ ẹ̀rí ni àwọn àgbàlagbà wọ́n ní bí orí bá dúró tọrùn inú ó déyìn ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ gan ni Sunday ọmọ Adéyẹmọ yẹ́ẹ̀ máa bá òótọ́ òní ọjọ́ burúkú tó lápẹ̀rẹ̀ ní ṣùgbọ́n o àwọn tí wọ́n ṣerú fún ẹ̀ wọn ò lè mú jẹ́ ẹ̀ má ṣe pé ṣùgbọ́n nu rẹ̀ gbogbo nǹkan ọba tí wọ́n padà bọ̀ ìmọ́lẹ̀ thank you àrò ọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ gbogbo nǹkan ọba tí wọ́n jẹ́ àrò ọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ àwọn tó mú kọ́dọ̀ ò náwáyé má ṣe pé o ṣùgbọ́n mọ̀tẹ́nu rẹ̀ ó kófò gbogbo nǹkan ọba pátápátá àrò ní ọmọ àrò mọ́ àwọn ilé wọ́n mọ fèrèsé lọ́lé wọ́n mọ fèrèsé lọ́lé wa kì í ṣe é mà wọ́n lè bí ilé rẹ̀ wípé ìdálọ́pọ̀ ni ìwòsàn lápẹ̀rẹ̀ lágbájá ni tàmídò ni ìmọ̀lẹ́ akéwìrì ọmọ wọn ló kù mọ̀ṣọ́ àti pété mo bólúwa mi dúpẹ́ mọ́ bẹ̀rù àgbà ìmọ̀lẹ̀ ẹsẹ̀.
bí ayé ṣe gbógun tọ́ta gbógun wọ́n ń wá gbogbo ọ̀nà kí àwọn sáà gbogbo tí nǹkan tá à ń ṣe bọ̀ ẹ̀ ń kíní láyà pé kí n fọkàn mi balẹ̀ ọlọ́run bẹ lẹ́yìn rẹ̀ sì wà lẹ́yìn rẹ̀ ọlọ́run bá tó wá láyé tọ́lọ́run kò ní padà lẹ́yìn tọmọtọmọ kò ní padà lẹ́yìn rẹ̀ nígbà tí ọlọ́run ti torí mo mọ̀ pé ó sọ wọn lóòkú bẹ́ẹ̀ àlẹ́ sí wọn yà ẹ̀ mo bí Yorùbá máa bọ́ ẹrú bá sí ọlọ́run nígbà tó ń wá ṣe tí bàbá wa bàbá bá jẹ́ akíntó àtàwọn bàbá tí wọ́n wà lẹ́yìn wa tí wọ́n bá ń na fúláàgì Yorùbá ní sàtókè pé adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run tó fún wa lórí ìdè wa wọn ní wẹ́lẹ̀ kọ̀ọ̀kan wa jù láti Ọlọ́run. ṣùgbọ́n mo fi kí Ọlọ́run mo fi tọrọ àforíjì fún àwọn bọ́dà mi bàbá táyà àti ọmọ mi ayéjì pé kí Ọlọ́run bá tó láyé tọ́lọ́run kó bá mi ṣàforíjì fún ọ. Ọlọ́run ìmọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni gbogbo nǹkan tó yẹ kó ṣe láyé lórílẹ̀‐èdè Yorùbá tán orí ṣe kí Ọlọ́run bá tó láyé kó bá ń fún àwọn ọmọ wọn àwọn ìyàwó wọn ṣe wọ́n sì bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ.
All right, there. Starr Radio UK. Something from Joshua Avila. It's I'll continue there. And I hope that I put some in your stuff this morning. So wherever you are, you're enjoying the Starr Radio UK morning show. It's not going on. 1 minute past the top of the hour. And let me just apologize for those of you on Twitter. It's flickering there. And a bit of you on the Facebook as well, flickering, but we want to tell you the technical team are working on it and they will make sure that it's stabilized. But in the time that you need to know, I'm going to bring you my man there. Mr. Laimi Koiki, the white lion himself this morning. To all the updates. I need to know when it comes to Nigeria. But do me a massive favor, share the broadcast. I say, Yummy, massive good morning to you.
Well, a very good morning to you, Mr. Archie. Good morning to all our listeners and viewers around the globe, and welcome to the, the Tuesday edition of the morning show. It is the 4th of July, 2023, and as we say to all our listeners from the other part of America, happy Independence Day.
Oh yeah, happy Independence Day for all our American listeners. Yes. I need to send messages. I know that they are sleeping now. I know some of them are up. Thank God. Good morning to you. Mo, good morning to you as well. Angela Denesi, good morning to you. And all of you folks, we salute each and every one of you. But tell me, how have you been overnight?
Well, it's been a beautiful, night. The weather is a little bit windy though. I haven't been out already this morning as usual because of other engagement and activities. But apart from that, a little bit more relaxing. It's just that we look forward to the week. I was actually, and we hope that Star Radio UK will be broadcasting from the Wimbledon. I don't know whether you've been following that. The Wimbledon 2023. I was able to catch up, with some of the game yesterday between the two Americans, and looking back to it, it seems that from what I was able to look up to, it seems that we've got some, one or two Nigerians that have passed through Wimbledon as well. So we promise our listeners around the world that Star Radio UK will be at the very close to the Wimbledon ground where we will be broadcasting from. When you look at the Wimbledon, you could tell that is one of those sporting events that is always looking up to. That tells you we are now in the strawberry, the tea cakes, the English tea, and that tells you that we are in summer. And yesterday was literally also the full moon. For those that are not aware, you get everything here on the Star Radio UK network. And if you're able to miss that, just stick to Star Radio UK, where we tell you the traffic heading to Wimbledon, because that is a very busy traffic, when you're going towards that side.
Well, yes, that is some information for you. As we say, from Accra, this is Yolo J. From Accra to Zanzibar. He's making the headlines to bring your way. And that's one of the things that we're going to do. But let's go to Nigeria. Some of the stories making around this morning. The bread sellers. Okay, let me take it from the picture behind you so that we can just go on. They have an abduction, an attack and abduction that is taking place. I was thinking, I always think about the state, the various states where we were calling for the states to have its own police force, but they know their area and they'll be able to deal with such insurgency. They'll be able to spot the whole. This one is not from the area. However, this one, a guard was killed. So this guard will be one from the local community. So can you tell us more about that?
What you're looking at is the Nigeria is a very interesting place. That is the former governor Sani Yerima. He is the former governor of one of the most states that have also have havoc by the Fulani terrorists. But it seems that his own views in dealing with what he called the bandit is like those that also were fighting, and they had to get what they called a bit of amnesty from the federal government, especially during the time of the Yaradua, when the chaos that was going on in the oil industry, the blow up of the pipeline. It seems that Yerima is now saying after a visit to the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and I'm going to be telling you that Bola Ahmed Tinubu as well did have what they call engagement for the first time after he returned back. I told you he's returned back to Abuja yesterday, and that means he had meeting with his service chief right there. We're going to be coming back to that. But Yerima is saying that bandits are poor people, ignorant Nigerians. Tinubu should rehabilitate them like the Boko Haram. Sani Yerima. I believe that as Nigerians, if they are called upon by the government, the major causes of this problem, banditry, is poverty and ignorance, and that literally means that the current president should dialogue with them. I will come back to who needs to be dialogue with, because nobody knows who the leaders are. They are fractions. They are like clusters, operating in different part of Nigeria. We told you yesterday that there was an attack in Ogun State. It's not just Ogun State, almost every part of Nigeria. But why is the former governor recall that the former president Umaru Musa Yar'Adua that died had a similar interaction with the Niger Delta? It seems that he believes that if you can negotiate with that, then there shouldn't be any reason why we shouldn't negotiate with the bandits.
Yes, That's quite an interesting one. We have a story where bandits came to a community, killed the security person, that thing. You say that, you know what? They are not well informed, so we need to get them, educate them, and then reintegrate them into the society. Now, so everybody should be given a second chance, right? So those who are saying that our people, our communities are being rampaged and what, ripped and everything is being destroyed by them, also have to be given a second chance. But nobody seems to be talking about that, young.
Well, you're quite right, because looking at the the activities of these criminals that have been operating without impunity, it's all about the money aspect. I mean, 5 million naira is a lot of money for an average Nigerian, and when these individuals end up kidnapping Nigerians have to sell things, have to borrow just to save their life, because there's no government in place. I mean, even though Bola Tinubu, from his engagement yesterday with some of the service chiefs in Asorok, Abuja, as again from the NSA, Nuru Rebado is saying that it seems that Bola Tinubu wants them to be up in their game. But how do you negotiate with banditry is the question. Yerima believes that the government, is not about the gun and killing them. We must negotiate with them. Previous effort to get the bandit to lay down their weapons have proved unsuccessful. It has been tried before. Money was pumped into that by the governor of Kaduna State, the former governor El Rufai, but it seemed that did not work. Making reference to the ex-president Muhammadu Buhari regime, rehabilitating the Boko Haram insurgents who have killed about 350,000 people in the Northeast since they took up arms against the Nigerian state in 2009. And this is where, again, you look at it and ask the question, Nnamdi Kanu is being kept, in the custody of the DSS by the federal government. Chief Dr. Sunday Igboho was attacked, almost killed, July 21. As many Nigerians then ask the question, these are individuals that have not carried arms, they've not carried kidnapping cases, they've not asked anyone to kill anybody, apart from the new intelligence that is coming out by one woman called Dupe that is now trying to bring machinery into the Yoruba land to create what might be similar to the banditry and the kidnapping, because intelligence that got us to us, some few hours ago indicated that she's trying to bring machineries, Africans into Nigeria, into the Yoruba territory, because she wants to create what they call the interim government by fire, by force.
It's interesting. It's interesting. Her quest to create the Yoruba state or nation with everything that is going on. And behind Sulaiman Koiki is the pictures of the service chiefs. And the question is, what are they doing at the moment? What are they got obviously rolled up so that we can see or we can go? What has been the response of the federal government this morning pertaining to the treatment that this former governor has made?
Well, I've been following to see if there has been any response yet from the government, but that hasn't happened yet. But what I can confirm is that yes, Bola Ahmed Tinubu met with the service chief yesterday, and I'll be telling you what we know so far in terms of the discussion with them. One important thing is that experts are tasking Tinubu to now declare. So that was a different headline as well. Let's come back to. I want to pick up where Tinubu met with the service chief yesterday. It seems that has run away out of the screen, but we'll come back to that in just about a few minutes. You're asking whether Tinubu has responded to the former governor of Zamfara State in regard to the banditry, giving them this amnesty, and probably maybe that will bring down the situation in Nigeria. What I can say is that I'm not too sure whether that would make any impact, but I'm going to bring up the story of what actually was the discussion between the service chief that you're looking up there. I'll take you back to Kano State. Bandits, Kano boarding schools remain closed, rather set up a reopening committee. According to the information report, that 12 out of the 50 boarding schools in Kano are completely shut down to ensure the students' safety. So Tinubu would have a lot of work to put out there to reassure Nigerians that he is up to the task, just as his predecessor, the former president Muhammadu Buhari, a former general, was a failed general that could not put an end to all the insurgency and the insecurity happening across Nigeria.
Well, okay, now let's move on to one very, very important story that you put up there, and that's the issue with the election campaign. Now, yesterday we didn't talk about the fact that some days before, that last week, the EU came out with their report saying that, you know what, we think that there were some issues with the next presidential election, and many people who didn't think that had, some way, somehow, influence the voting that was going on, either by trying out false information or fake news as we go now. Now that the tribunal had accepted the EU's report as part of evidence, where do you think this whole thing is going?
Yesterday we were, looking up to this, situation when we were discussing, what the EU are saying, and the response by, the presidency was very, very tough in terms of their response, in terms of what the EU has given as their own final report. But today, it seems that the tribunal will be admitting the European Union report as an exhibit on the presidential poll. The question we should be asking is that going to make any changes on terms of the election petition tribunal? But the presidential election petition in Abuja yesterday have now admitted in evidence the final report of the European Union Observer mission on the February 25th presidential election. The EU report was actually tendered by the tribunal by the People's Democratic Party that came second is candidate Atiku Abubakar, who are challenging the outcome of the poll, in which President Bola Tinubu was declared winner. It's in his final report presented last week, the EU had declared that the election was below expectation. Few names was also mentioned in terms of those that made that election a little bit, with fake news peddlers. And we're talking about, Keyamo, a senior advocate of Nigeria, and Femi Fani-Kayode. Femi Fani-Kayode is a very good critic of the West. He studied here at Cambridge, so he knows, the West very well. And he has always said throughout that the West are mostly behind, the imbalance, this instability to create havoc, and also the lot of criminality that is happening in Nigeria. And, he's the one putting on the cap there. That's Femi Fani-Kayode. His father was a one-time politician. Festus Keyamo, in the other end, was one of the, big-time minister under the former President Muhammadu Buhari, also in support of the current government as well. But it seems that the European Union have listed these two individuals. I'm going to see what Fani-Kayode will be responding, because I know he's going to respond very harsh back to the European Union. But the former junior labor minister, Festus Keyamo, and the ex-aviation minister, that Rotimi Amechi, told us that Femi Fani-Kayode took 1 billion naira, but the airport was not repaired, and yet he has so much cases with the EFCC, and as they are big men, as against the Yahoo criminals that are brought into the screen and given sentences, his own case continue, and he's still operating in Nigeria as just a normal individual.
Well, justice continue, but we know that when it comes to this part of the world, justice, maybe one day. But interestingly, the INEC director, technical director, has come to give evidence that, the presidential results server crashed. That means that there was a tendency that people were able to now impute some fake results and stuff like that, which means that the whole system was compromised.
Well, Nigeria has a lot of fake results because, before touching on that, we've been following these young girl, that that Jam has actually said that she actually faked her result. We're talking about Jam result. The UTME top scorer that declared daughter innocent. I'm going to come back to that story because that has been trending. In the last 48 hours. But yes, it seems that as we are monitoring the situation with the election tribunal and what is going to be the end of it, INEC technical director has told the tribunal presidential result server crashed on the election day. It could be for so many reasons. We do know that website crash, server crash, especially when everybody is trying to get into that particular server to get the result, because the result was meant to be coming live, as we know. The electoral chief admission came when he appeared before the presidential election petition tribunal in Abuja yesterday. What was he saying? Lawrence Bayode, INEC deputy director in charge of technology, had said under the oath that the cloud server managing the transmission of the presidential election result crashed on the election day.
Well, interesting. The question is, will that change the results? Will that change the results of the election? And we're still waiting patiently.
Well, he actually said that, going further to what Mr. Bayode said, however, added that the failure was not directly linked to manipulation of the result. He didn't elaborate on how he was confident that the glitch did not affect the result of the election, contrary to enduring outcry of the opposition. Mr. Bayo's admission came when he appeared yesterday at the presidential election. And that continued today, as we know that Peter Obi will be coming back again to the court today as the election petition is still ongoing. Whether all these evidence with the EU transmission of the result failure, crash, server, evidence of manipulation, it seems that the senior advocate of Nigeria representing three gladiators would have to square it out, but the outcome of the final will be by those judges that will make decision.
Wow, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. The time at 11:23, and to every one of you watching us and listening to us, Nigeria, on the African continent, I want to salute each and every one of you. Thank you very much. Tell me, I've got a picture back. I don't know whether now you've got information on the statement that the president made, but let me put this statement that Bishop Adesina has put across. He said that another wonderful day, God, goodness and mercy shall always follow us. Many blessings. And he says, yes, Koiki, efficiency of full moon is that moon is completely 360 degrees circle in view and closer to Earth compared to the new moon, which is increasing to view. One of the implications is that full moon appears to show that show date as mid-month in the primitive calendar. Okay. Thank you very much, my bishop. He likes to educate us in his education this morning. All right, then. Now let's talk about bread. Now, okay, let me go back to you. Maybe you've got information.
Yes, let's quickly touch on that briefly. As the service chief met for the first time, you could see the smile in Bola Tinubu, and that shows that power is something that when you have it, we hope is going to manage it in the interest of Nigerians, in the interest of safeguarding Nigeria against the insurgency, the interest of Nigeria against the economic background, and as so many other areas. But as it was getting those salutes from all the service chiefs, do not fail Nigeria is the question by the President Bola Tinubu, charges the service chiefs. President Bola Tinubu yesterday charged the newly appointed security chiefs not to fail the country. The president gave the charge during his first meeting with the service chiefs after they were appointed while he was just on his way out. Nurul Ibadu, the national security advisor who spoke to the State House journalists after the meeting, said the president mandated the service chiefs to ensure the security of the citizens, adding that we have resolved to secure this country. How they are going to secure that country is what as many Nigerians are now looking up to.
Well, I could say, you shut it down, maybe you crack the whip, and you will get an outcome of that. But if somebody is there, and they cannot even get their hand. They don't have enough money now to even buy the bread, the common bread. Okay, so that at least you have, back in the day, my great grandmother. I didn't see my grandmother. I saw my great grandmother. When I go to visit her in hometown, and then my dad will let me buy bread to go and give to her on my way. So if I didn't go with my dad and went with any of my uncles, and then he will have it, she will have it, and then have some water, and then put some sugar in it. That's how they like it. And then just break it, and then dunk the bread, and then she'll be eating because it's not what she'll be just munching on it. And so you see that it's one of the things that at least people can just have and make this and up. But if now bread sellers are saying, or bread makers or bakers are saying that, you know what, the prices at which you are buying the bread is going to change, because I think the prices of the commodities that we are using, or the materials that we are using, or the ingredients have gone up. Tell me, bread. Tell me about it.
I think last week I actually posted on my timeline, to all our listeners and followers, where during after school hours, picking up the children, there were food stuff display. These happen, I believe, in all schools around the area, just to support the parents. And you could walk onto the desk. There is loads of bread. There is fruit. There is potato. There is tomato. There's cabbage. There's crepes. There's yogurt. There's soup. That literally means that by the time you pack all those and bring it home, it will last at least 3 days and make you survive. So that is the the situation here in UK. But in Nigeria, it seems that the imminent hike in the price, Nigerian bread producers have been complaining for some time. This is not the first time we have said it. Remember that the reason why the complaint is going on, it's also due to the fact that the African president that traveled to Ukraine and Russia told the two sides to please, for heaven's sake and for humanity's sake, allow the passage of the Black Sea. And the reason for that is because that is the only route that brings in the wheat from the Ukraine, as we know that the amount of wheat produced by Ukraine is in large quantity. When we look at the import of wheat to Nigeria, again, because Nigeria is a country that have refused to grow when it comes to food, and that literally means that I'm looking at 2021 on the OEC world that gives every country details or data when it comes to the import and export. So in terms of our import to Nigeria, we actually spend $61.6 billion. And guess what? 3.32 billion of that, at about 5.38%, are wheat importation. Now, let me give you the breakdown of where the wheat are coming from. We have as many. You'll be wondering, a lot of Nigerians do not know where their wheat is coming from, but they are complaining about the bread in the first place. At least if we know where these raw materials are coming from, then you will then understand why it is becoming expensive. Looking at the dollar exchange rate this morning as well. Lithuania, we are actually buying almost $582 million of wheat at about 17.5% from Lithuania. Latvia, we are buying about 508 million value of wheat at about 15%. Russia is also giving us about 493 million. 15% is coming from the US. Canada is giving us about 297 million. Germany is giving us about 150 million. Ukraine is giving Nigeria 490 million is what we are paying the Ukraine to get the wheat from them. Estonia, the question then is, when you go back and look at some of these countries, apart from Russia, Germany, and United States of America, we look at Lithuania this morning, and let's ask ourselves the question, Lithuania, when it comes to Lithuania, what is the population, and why is Lithuania making the best out of the wheat growing? The total population of Lithuania this morning, according to the World Bank, is 2.8 million as at 2021, when Nigeria was importing wheat from them. And when you look at their GDP, is about 66.4 billion US dollars. Nigerians will continue to cry because the government of previous and the military era have destroyed the agriculture industry. We shouldn't be importing wheat from Lithuania, a country that is having a population of 2.8 million. That is less than Kwara State. And I've been looking at Kogi State, which is the topic of this week. Kogi State has 21 local government. When we look at the population in Kogi State as of today, that is approximately, roughly, I'm going to get that data in just about a few minutes, but we have about 3.3 million people living in Kogi State. That is 1 million less than the population of Lithuania, where we are buying the wheat from. Kogi State should have been providing the wheat, and we wouldn't have to import it rather into the country.
Well, listeners, it's kind of interesting one day. But if insecurity is prevailing in Nigeria, then of course people will not be able to go to their farm to go and take it. But does Nigeria produce wheat at all all these wheat come from outside?
Well, even if they are, it will be very, very less in terms of proportion. We do know that so many things are produced in Nigeria, when it comes to growing them. But when we talk about the wheat, you can tell that we have spent 3.32 billion US dollars. That is a staggering amount of money. And when we look at the breakdown, of the countries that we import from, France, Croatia, other European country, and likewise Australia. When you look at the distance of Australia to Nigeria, you will ask yourself, how did we get to where we have to import wheat all the way from Australia to the tune of 32.5 million? So it seems that there are some Nigerians that are taking advantage of that.
Well. So as we say, some people are commenting trouble so that, others they can go and instead of buying the medicine from them, they wouldn't buy, they can go outside to go and buy it. So the listener says, God have mercy on Nigerians. A family bread is sold for 1,200 naira. And then now this is going to be price increase again. There's going to be price increase again. People can't even afford the present price, but only few rich people who are able to afford it. I mean, I'm saying that it's just a basic, meal. Having bread, shouldn't be. I hope we buy bread and we can, just leave it there for a long time. We have to take it and put it in the freezer because nobody will be eating it. And then we have to charge the baby at a point. But if you look at all those things and they were basic food, we are not being able to get it, and we get to this level, and the price is going to go up as well. Then you ask yourself the question, how has our government been that? How have they led us? But somebody is posted a question, and let me ask you, pertaining to the same picture that you put behind you. The person is asking, the military chief that is being forcing the generals to retire. What has been the reaction? Because they gave them some time. Have they responded to it at all?
Well, they gave them up to, today, yesterday, to retire. But looking at, Omoyele Sowore, speaking around that as well, it seems that just to make sure that they are not bringing any more problem into Bola Tinubu's government, they've been given big packages, from bulletproof very SUV to, millions of naira as a retirement package. And that will just make them buy a property somewhere in Europe. And they'll probably be looking up to Tinubu until it's finished. It's just not to bring another coup. I don't know how true that is. But definitely, as I said yesterday, some of the former military generals have no other option than to now leave it for the new ones that the new president have brought in place.
They're getting good payment. Why would they? They will take it. Okay, now, and there's a sad story that happened in Abuja where another building collapsed. I don't know what I've captured that, but I did. Struck yesterday in the nation's capital, Abuja, as about 20 persons were reportedly trapped in the rubble of a 4-story hotel building, which collapsed in Dupe, live camp. And according to eyewitnesses, the building, which has an underground facility, was owned by one of the top people in the hotel business in the territory. It was said to be under construction as of the time of the collapse. Now, we had incidents like that in Lagos State. And we talked about the fact that the building inspectorate, the inspectorate division of building of the various states, as whether they are rising up to do their job, we'll wait, and then something like that will happen. And we'll make noise, we'll go and sleep. Then the next time something happens again, we'll come and make noise. Tell me, what happened there?
When the news was breaking yesterday, I was just asking myself in the new era that we are living, when even with a scan, you can easily detect whether a building has been compromised from the scratch by putting in different technology, testing of the soil, testing of the materials. But Nigerians are always looking to cut corners. And that has been one of our biggest obstacle, when we look at project, that should have been completed. I was reviewing Ajaokuta yesterday, and the reason why I can bring in Ajaokuta to link up to this conversation is because Ajaokuta is a steel mill that should have produced what is now being used in Abuja. The question is, where is the materials being brought from, when it comes to, the material to use to build the building, because you need the steel, you need the soil, you need the, the water, and you need the expertise as well. It shows that the negligence of getting it right, if this is happening in Abuja, is happening in Lagos, then I can imagine how many buildings are collapsing in other states that doesn't even come onto the air. The reason why this is coming on air is because of Abuja. But like you said, when it happened, committee are set up, money are being spent into it, just as Ajaokuta has got billions of dollars, and 45 years down the line, Ajaokuta is not working. I wonder how Buhari sleeps, in the night, because in 2022, a 4 billion naira was phantomed into the 2022 budget. And when I was playing out, those that understand Ajaokuta, it was just to pay salary to keep people going in that particular sector. And the question is, where is going to be the next building collapse? And how quickly can we save Nigerians when the top people are trying to cut corners? You can imagine as many low earners will cut corners. Let's just get the building up and running. But whether it's going to last is a different thing entirely.
Just imagine if we are here, okay, and we travel to Nigeria, and we say we are going to Abuja, and you say, okay, let's go to that hotel. We rented a place, it's been completed, and we are in there, and in the night or whatever time, this building just collapsed and kills us because somebody is not doing their job. And I don't know.
And if you remember that Nigeria is not an earthquake zone area like Turkey, so that literally means that, the building is not having any kind of earthquake. It's just that it has been compromised to cut corners by those Nigerians that want to save money but kill as many lives. And like you said, we hope, there's still the rescue going on. But yesterday, more people have died again for the negligence of contractors that are trying to cut corners with the owner of those businesses.
Wow, let's start already today. When stories like this come out there, I feel very sad. I feel disappointed. Leaders are not doing what is supposed to. People will always want to, circumvent the law. But that is why we have authorities there to see to it that we all we are tailoring or we are working according to the rules. Some will just, but we have to make sure that people are protected. All right, then, listeners, start already, okay? 11:38 the time. The morning show, the program updates from Nigeria with Michelle because we'll go back to your for the rest of the stories and what is happening on the social media part. Over to you.
Well, we'll be talking about the UTME fraud. We will reveal all we know. People will be shocked. The JAM registry, Professor Ishak Oloyede, continue to believe that the result that was put out by this young Nigerian is fraud. She said that she took out the result printed out from the JAM server, but it seems that the registry of the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, you need to do this to get into any university or polytechnic. So it's like an exam that needs to be done after your West African examination exam. And that means that, based on your cutoff mark, you will get to whatever university of your choice. But since the last 48 hours, Professor Ishak Oloyede said that Nigerians will be shocked if the body decides to reveal the details of the forgery perpetrated by Marcin Ejikeme, the candidate from Anambra State, whom the board accused of manually inflating a UTME score. It's just still not clear. The young girl has spoken yesterday as well, saying that she has not done anything. She has been winning as a student beating us, other colleagues in primary school up to secondary school. But it seems that the JAM is saying that note that the result paraded by Ejikime was the template for a student who sat for the UTME 2 years ago. The question then is, how did she put her own details and got this printed out, or was it an inside job? Because as they say, there's always an insider that can change the result. We've seen it here in UK. It's not just in Nigeria. Remember at some point, some individuals will later find out that the driver license with them has been compromised right inside the DVLA. If this can happen in UK, you can as well say Nigeria, it can happen day by day. I still insist that I have it on evidence that last year, a Nigerian flew back to Nigeria, changed his own details, and then flew out again with a new details. That is the kind of corruption that goes on in Nigeria, and everybody knows this. It's just that we try not to speak out. And when we are saying that Nigerians is not respected outside, it's because your result cannot be confirmed. I remember when I came here about 25 years ago, I had to then ask, presented my school cert to one of the university here in London, and I was told that they can't confirm because our WAEC in Nigeria does not even have any office here in London, and they will not be able to accept that. And this has been one of the biggest obstacles to so many Nigerians that are planning to study in UK, because why? As an English-speaking country, you are then asked to go and retake an English exam just to get into the university or even do a master courses here in the United Kingdom. So we're going to leave it on that because of the time constraint. But let's go straight to what is trending right now on the social media, as this young girl has now also become what we can call an ethnic, because some are saying, is she because she's from the southeast of Nigeria? This is happening. Whether that is so or not, we just have to wait and see. I'm getting the news from the Nigerian television network. President of the Senate, Godwill Akpabio, has now announced names of the majority leadership of the 10th Senate. Okpeyemi Bamidele will be the Senate majority leader. David Umahi will be deputy majority leader. Mohammed Ali Indume will be Senate majority whip. Lola Ashiru will be deputy majority whip. So this is coming as we speak right now. I was thinking maybe Fenikade has responded to the EU, and yes, he has, as I will say. He has just responded 23 minutes ago. Let's take a little bit of what he's saying. It might be a little bit about a minute or so, but let's read it out. Before, and let's get his image out again so we know the individual is the one on the right-hand side on your screen there with the Fulani hat there. Before they assail and afflict us with their self-serving, self-seeking, hypocritical, nucentic, infantile, irritating, inconsequential election monitor report, the European Union and its member states should tender unreserved apology for the unspeakable atrocities that they committed against the people of Africa over the last 200 years. In case they have forgotten, permit me to remind them of just a few. The Germans committed genocide in Namibia, the Belgians committed genocide in Congo, the French committed genocide in Algeria, the Dutch committed genocide in South Africa, the Spanish committed genocide in Equatorial Guinea and Morocco, the Portuguese committed genocide in Angola and Mozambique, the British, though no longer a member of the European Union, committed genocide in Kenya and South Africa. Hundreds of millions of Africa were subjected to ethnic cleansing, mass murder, slavery, total subjugation by the Europeans in the 19th and the 20th century. When a European accuses we Africans of being brutal and barbaric, of committing all manner of mindless atrocity against one another, and of being a bunch of fraudulent and dishonest election riggers, they forgot to mention the fact that if true we must have learned such callousness, wickedness, barbaric, and rogueless trait from them, history proves that their report deserves to be in one place and one place alone, the bottom of the dustbin. I'll come back again now to you in the studio, Mr. Archie.
Well, I didn't expect anything different from that. I think I was trying to come and do big drama.
I told you when it comes back out, it's going to fire very hard, and it seems that it took his time to do so by the time he responded just 23 minutes ago on his official Twitter handle That is just the new ad, and it has actually generated about 12,000 reactions so far in 25 minutes. Whether some will appreciate that, even though some disagree with him when it comes to APC. But let's take some of the few comments. Somebody just put his 2 hands by his ears. I don't know what the meaning of that. This one say the pepper soup was too sweet for a quick reaction. Breaking, Fenika, they admit that APC rigged election, but only learned it from the European nation who did it in the past. This one say, Baba, I just the pity you small. It is better to drink gari in peace than to eat fried rice and chicken in tears. This one say, congratulations, you made it on the list.
Listen, let's start really okay. Before we run off the updates, this organization now pertaining to the collapse building, say the building collapse problem is not Nigerians' fault. It's the fault of the Nigerian agencies, consisting of lack of competent personnel. So he's saying that those who are in the inspectorate, those who are supposed to be approved in order, that is the place where it's compromised. So, I mean, as for the builders, they will want to make their money, they want to, as everything that is standing, and so that is okay. But it's a sad one there. We hope that with the new sheriff in town, maybe he cracks the whip, then everybody go in the line. Listen, let's start already. Tell me before we go.
Well, I'll leave you to, Archie to take us through the rest of the program. As we say, if it's not the Star Radio UK, it's nobody else. Let's stay tuned to the more news and headline on the traffic as we continue to say, may Nigeria not happen to any one of us. And as I leave you in the good hands of Archie, remember to follow us on our Twitter handle on the Star Radio UK network. Also to all our listeners on the sister broadcast, we say a very good morning and welcome to again. As I say, I'll be back again tomorrow. Bye for now, Archie.
Well, listen, that has been so lively for the updates from Nigeria. We do that every weekday from 10 o'clock when the program starts with all the stories that we can do.
Wow. European Union. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll take our short break. We'll come back later so that we can continue with our exposition on Kogi State. But for now, I got to go now so that I'll come back later. Thank you so much, everyone, that have stayed tuned. My name is Olayomi Koiki, and this is Koiki Media, stroke the Star Radio UK, that have also bringing the broadcast to us across the globe. Yoruba Nation is no going back. It is no going back, no going back. Bye for now.